A little update to the emergency lighting video. The other video will not actually be being released now. CPC came aware of the video and they took one of the lights into their technical department because they've got the full testing facilities, and they opened it up and just immediately took it off their shelves and contacted the supplier. Now, the problem is that they got those lights from a British supplier who is supposed to only supply British compliant products, and they didn't. And the irony is that if you look at this light instead, this is one of CPC's own brand, their Pro-Elec fittings. And I'm going to open this up and show you the inside. They do have their own labs and they test these products thoroughly. So I'm going to take these two screws out that release this, whereupon it hinges down and reveals something somewhat more sophisticated than the other light. Let's turn this round so plenty of light gets on it. So what have we got here? We've got a traditional nickel-cadmium pack consisting of 3 cells. This is just a very common style of pack used in emergency lights. It's normally left disconnected, and when needed it can plug onto the PCB. And there's usually protection so that the lights won't come on immediately even though the battery is charged, because it's got a circuit in it that to protect the cells during the installation process from over discharge, it will not attempt to run the light until power has been applied. And then it will start charging the batteries, and then it will activate the emergency feature. On this one, we've got proper input filtering. We've got the incoming supply. We've got a link across the switched input and the permanent feed. This means that you can use this light both as a maintained and like continuously lit light, or one that comes on with a light switch at the wall, but it also doubles up as the emergency light. So the supply comes into this, and it initially goes through a fuse. Then it's got X2 capacitor, it's got the common mode suppression choke, another X2 capacitor, it's got the rectifier, it's got the smoothing capacitor, and it's got all you'd expect in a proper, compliant, well-filtered switch mode power supply, with the switch mode chip driving the transformer to produce the low voltage supply. There's the rectifier there, and that will be going to charge the batteries. I've not analysed this circuitry yet. I'm going to have to take a look at this later. I think it's worth its own video, actually. When the power fails, it will then provide the voltage down to the LED panel here and light the LEDs. It's worth noting this one does have the other LED, here it is here, that shows when they're charging. It does appear to be a requirement. They have that as an indicator. That's why there's 3 wires going down onto this, and that should show when there is current going into the battery. And it gives a rough state of the health of the light. It doesn't tell you if the battery's super old. Unfortunately, emergency lights get abused. You know, they're one of these things that people use them because they have to use them. It's not a very glamorous thing. And they never, ever, you're supposed to do routine checks on them. A lot of installations, they never do these checks unless they are sort of proper sort of hotels and places. Or certainly when I was at the Edinburgh University student accommodation there, they did come in, they did a basic check on it where they just check it still works. And at certain points, they'll also do a much longer check. Other things worth noting here, I'm guessing these resistors are all in series, and this looks like it's forming a resistor dropper to this opto-isolator. And the reason for that is probably, and this is just guessing, just from the layout of the circuitry, so that the switched input probably just provides a signal over to the other side to turn the light on. Although the battery is charging all the time, 24/7, that just provides an auxiliary, effectively a switching function that will turn the light on and off, a wall switch. So this is there's also a fuse here for the battery on itself. So this is what you'd expect in a typical emergency light. The other one was very, very strangely minimalist. I'm not sure how that came to be. But that's what's happening at the moment. So at some point I probably will take this one completely to bits and analyse it in greater depth. But at the moment, this video and the other one with the other emergency light will be Patreon only.